colleagues and new guests. My name is Dr. Phillip Yoo. I'm the founder of the 21st Century Laser Stem Pain and Regenerative Medicine Institute in Orange County, California. And I am a chiropractic sports physician by training. So we have what's called the integrative practice. Dr. William Gooch here is an orthopedic surgeon. He does the injections, and I do the research. Okay. So the title of my talk is Pulse Electromagnetic Field Therapy and Applications of Regenerative Medicine. So why on earth does it say laser there? Well, my last talk was on lasers. But if you think about it, Einstein is the first scientist to coin lasers. And if you break it down, what does laser stand for? Light amplified by stimulated electromagnetic radiation, all right? So it's the electromagnetic field that the laser, the output, the wavelengths that actually deliver wavelengths of healing energy. This is my family. This is a Health Corps Foundation. It's one of the organizations I sponsor, one of Dr. Oz's nonprofit organizations, and we teach young Americans how to live healthy because now kids are addicted to their cell phones. We want to get them back into sports, teach them about nutrition. Right? So please support Dr. Oz's Health Corps Foundation. I got my start in non-traditional, I call it energy medicines in China. I was a credentialed sports physician at the 2008 Olympic Games. And this colleague here, his name is Dr. Gilman, he was treating athletes with this laser. It was my first exposure. And he treated this gentleman here. His name's Dick Fosbury. You know, he's the first high jumper to go backwards, and he had this elbow pain. He probably wore his elbow out pole vaulting. And so Dr. Gilman would give Dick these laser treatments on his elbow. And then the arthritic pain starts to go away, and he moved it with a larger radius, more range of motion. So that was my first exposure to laser therapy. And I started treating some Olympic athletes. This is Ron Brown, and he won a gold medal in track and field at the '84 Olympics. He was a wide receiver for the LA Rams and Raiders. Ironically, he didn't have any back or knee pain, he had wrist pain. So we're treating his carpal tunnel with these lasers and getting great results. And then I got the honor to treat one of the Navy SEAL teams in Virginia. And they got excellent results with the laser treatment for their chronic pain. And then I was doing this exercise program called CrossFit, and I tore both my rotator cuffs, the right labrum, the left biceps tendon, supraspinatus. And I remember the day I tore it, I was sleeping on my stomach, and I couldn't lift my arm, and I couldn't even reach the garage door opener in my visor of my car. That's how bad it was. So I couldn't really train hard for 3 years. So a colleague of mine, he injected some more umbilical cord, Wharton's jelly, and 4 months later I was back to doing pull-ups, Olympic lifts. So I knew that this worked. And then I discovered our academy here, and I have the privilege to be one of the teachers here. So, one of my favorite shows is Star Trek, and this is one of my favorite scenes, and this is what I envision what regenerative medicine is for the future. So watch this.
Who are you? Why aren't you masked? Who are these people? Just right down here, you check there. What the hell is that? What are you doing? What's your degree in? Dentistry? How do you explain contaminations and revealing in these cases? A simple evacuation of the expanding of a girl hematoma will release the pressure. God, you swallow that. Drilling holes through his head. The artery must be repaired. Now put away your butcher knives and let me save this patient before it's too late.
So I think that's where we are in medicine. I think medications, injections, and surgery has their place, but not as the default first line of defense. I think it should be, last. We should do preventative medicine first, non-invasive procedures. And ironically, even Captain Kirk recently had some stem cells for, I think, longevity or wellness. Here's an interview that Captain Kirk we did a few years ago, and I was telling him my vision for what 21st century medicine should be. So, you can play that. Does that play?
Good to have you here. I'm very concerned about healthcare. The real issue is how do we keep Americans healthy? And I understand that is one of your goals. So tell me, what are you doing to help us stay healthy? Any new procedures and developments to help people to live more productive lives and in so doing move America forward?
Well, Mr. Shatner, the non-invasive, non-intrusive medical devices once seen in Star Trek have now become a reality. We have developed new techniques and procedures using LED and infrared light technology, class 4 lasers, and pulsed electromagnetic field waves that are having a dramatic impact on those suffering from chronic pain. For the first time in a long time, these people are actually able to go out in the world and enjoy life again, pain-free. And that, Mr. Shatner, is how we are helping to move America forward.
But I don't think we have to wait, 100 years, because in a sense, we are doing 21st century medicine now, all right? A lot of people have misunderstandings about regenerative medicine. A lot of patients say, hey, didn't George Bush ban stem cells? No, he banned the research on further lines of embryonic stem cells. There's a lot of misinformation of how regenerative medicine works. A lot of patients are told that they can have their blood drawn, spin it, called platelet-rich plasma, and then they're getting stem cell regenerative medicine. The reality is there's no live active stem cells in your peripheral blood. There are very small embryonic-like stem cells which are dormant. And the older you are, the less regenerative capacity some of these PRP treatments can give you. And then there was a lot of advertisements for amniotic fluid, which really doesn't have any live active MSCs. We know the first FDA-approved procedure was for leukemia using bone marrow aspirate. And then a doctor in Korea discovered that there were stem cells in fat. He did a lot of liposuction. He was a cosmetic surgeon, and he called it liquid gold because he discovered there's a lot of stem cells in fat. But the problem is you have to use collagenase to separate the adipose from the fat, and that's not FDA compliant, so it's really not a compliant way to get your stem cells from the SVF. So what's really left? Well, and we do have Wharton's jelly, which is the outer membrane of the umbilical cord. And if you think about it, what's the purpose of Wharton's jelly? Well, it's called jelly because it's cartilaginous. It's like a cushion. And it cushions the umbilical cord vein and artery. So if we use it to, regenerate a joint, it has a cushioning effect of the joint, provides structural support. So we feel it is a 361 product because it's homologous. And then you're not affecting more than one tissue. It doesn't have a systemic effect because you're doing it in the joint, and it's minimally manipulated. You don't need a chemical to separate it, all right? And of course, the new buzzword is exosome, which is not even a cell. It's actually a microvesicle, no more than 100 nanometers, inside the stem cell, and it carries messenger RNA to the target tissue or cell. So now scientists think that it's the exosome which is really responsible to deliver the healing messages. This may be the future regenerative medicine. We might not even use the whole stem cell, just the exosome microvesicle. So they call it the next small thing. Okay. So I was in New York in June, and I was a speaker at Bloomberg. This gentleman is a speaker too. He hit so many golf balls he couldn't even stand up. So he had to fly all the way to Germany to have regenerative medicine. I'm going to share what happened to Jack here. Does that play? There's a video hidden in there. Can you play that? Just click it. Anyways, Jack flew to Munich, and Dr. Eckhart Alt, who was supposed to speak here last time, he's going to speak soon. Dr. Z is going to get him here. Well, he decided to do some regenerative medicine with the German technique, and he came back, and now he can go for golf again at age 79. He can play tennis, and he could stand up at a cocktail party. He was not able to do that before. All right. We know this football player allegedly had some regenerative medicine. He was 39. He had a herniated disc in his neck. After that, he came back, won the Super Bowl for what team?
Broncos.
No, Broncos. Close. That's Drew Brees. Okay, they kind of look alike, but he's taller. All right. So what I'm going to do is, a lot of people, they think magnetic therapy is, they don't understand how it works. I tend to be too scientific, so I'm going to let Dr. Oz explain what pulse electromagnetic therapy is, okay? Hopefully this plays. Does that play? This one.
Today on the Dr. Oz Show, you don't have to live in agony anymore. Heal your chronic pain. No pills, no surgery.
Today, we are changing the practice of medicine.
The new invisible treatment your doctor hasn't heard of.
Builds a magnetic field around you, going deep into your body.
Is this the revolutionary cure you've been waiting for?
Are these things for real? This is new cutting-edge research.
Dr. Oz investigates.
This is how we're going to change medicine together.
Next.
About the show than any other we have done this season, because today we are changing the practice of medicine, and you get the help. Now, if you've tried everything to ease your back pain, your neck pain, foot pain, arthritis pain, then this is the show for you. There's a revolutionary cure for pain that 2 doctors know about, because it's not a new pill or surgery. It uses moving magnets, energy waves that change the way your body copes with pain. Wait till you see what we found.
You may not realize it, and you certainly can't feel it, but inside each of us is a raging electrical storm. A biological whirlwind that controls every cell, every nerve, every muscle, every thought. How you experience pleasure, and even how you experience pain. What if you could harness this powerful force field inside of you to feel better, sleep longer, and most miraculous of all, ease your chronic aches and pains? That's the promise of magnetic therapy, which uses the power of magnetic energy to redirect electrical impulses to the areas where you feel pain, so relief and healing can begin. The FDA has already cleared pulse magnetic therapy for fusing broken bones, treating severe, untreatable depression, and now to treat post-operative pain and swelling. It sounds like science fiction, but is magnetic therapy for real? Are we finally on the brink of a whole new frontier to reduce, even erase, your pain?
Now, just to be clear, we are not talking about static magnets, the kind you stick on the fridge. This is pulsed electromagnetic fields. It's pulsing moving energy. Dr. James Dillard is a world-class pain specialist who practiced with me at New York Presbyterian Hospital for many years. So Dr. Dillard, are these things for real? I mean, how can magnetic therapies
help ease pain.
Because the electromagnets actually affect the nerve cells. Nerve cells are electrical cells, and the magnetic fields can actually affect how the nerves fire and quiet them down without using drugs that most people are used to, and increase circulation in the area and aid the healing.
You take care of a lot of patients. When folks come to you and they want medications or surgery or meals, how do you convince them that magnets might be a better solution?
I actually don't have to convince a lot of these people. A lot of my pain patients, they're sick of having too much morphine, oxycodone, they're sick of all the injections, and I'm trained to do that too. Many of my patients, and remember, more than 1 out of every 3 Americans is suffering with chronic pain now. 1 out of every 3. Many of my patients want to try something other than drugs, unnecessary surgeries, damaging surgeries, and these deep injections. So a lot of patients, I don't actually have to convince them. They want to try something else.
All right, so this is really important. I want you to understand it well. Here's what researchers say magnetic fields are doing inside the body. Inside this mat, there are electrical coils. And when electricity passes through there, it creates a magnetic field that moves through the body. And it whispers to the 75 trillion cells in your body. And it goes deep into your body, places where sports screens and heating paths could never reach. For example, down around the spine, where that red, angry area is. Now, the magnetic field turns on, and when it does it, it activates these ions, these charged particles. And there are proteins in there, and there are signals in there, stirring these things up. And these charged particles bring in nutrients, but they also begin to influence things like blood supply. Now, when the blood vessels are going in here, the red blood cells are actually stacked. See, they're stacked like that. They're not supposed to be stacked. When they're irritated, that happens. So when you pass magnetic fields through there, that yellow light, it opens up the blood vessels. It breaks apart these red cells. They're not stacked like coins. So you can get deep healing, better oxygen supply. So the healing process takes place. You don't just feel better. You are better.
I think he explains it beautifully, way better than I can, all right? So we do happen to use several different pulse electromagnetic field units. This LA police officer is getting it for both his knees. Here are all the FDA approved uses for PEMF, chronic pain relief, post-operative pain and swelling, bone growth, regeneration for non-healing union fractures, vascular issues, the NeuroStar for depression, if antidepressants are ineffective, adjunct to cervical fusion surgery, brain cancer, enhanced tissue repair at NASA study, and stimulate growth of stem cells in NASA adjunct study. All right. Here's the NASA study. Here they are making the coils to make the electromagnetic field study. And we know that a stem cell, all cells, is like a capacitor. All right. It's a device for accumulating, holding a charge of electricity. And when you lose electrons, you lose resistance, and that's when disease manifests. PEMF therapy will specifically target the compromised part of the body and increase electrical gradient in your cells, thus considerably improving the cell's ability to repair and heal. PEMF is like a battery charger for the human cell. Harold Saxonberg, PhD, while studying at Yale School of Medicine, discovered measurable imbalances in the electrical field of an organ precedes the onset of pathology. He also stated if the electrical imbalance is corrected, the disease does not manifest. Another reason why PEMF is so effective at advanced injury and repair and rapid reduction of inflammation is that not only does electrical gradient in the cell increase, but the cell pumps out toxins. As the cell detoxifies, it pumps fresh oxygen, blood, lymphatic fluid in the cells in the injured and diseased area. Here's some studies on how pulse electromagnetic fields improve umbilical-derived mesenchymal stem cell treatments for tendon repair. Here's another video on how you can get these PEMF fields for free. It's called grounding, and let me play this. Can you play that?
It didn't seem to make sense. I think I became a believer once I started to explore the science.
If you take a microscope and you look at a piece of wood and you go down, 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 all of a sudden there's nothing there. There's molecules, but they're not even connected. What's holding them together? What's the force that's holding everything together? Our body is electrical. This is all electronic equipment. The heart, the lungs, the brain. I mean, this is electrical equipment. It's all electrical. Everything is electrical.
Unbeknownst to us, we live inside a battery. The surface of the Earth is charged negatively, and the ionosphere, which is a layer of the atmosphere about 60 miles up, which is ionized by the sun, meaning that the rays of the sun are so strong that they split the molecules into a positive charge and a negative charge. The negative charge are transferred to the surface of the Earth through lightning mainly, and the positive charge stay 60 miles up. The problem arises when we don't have negative charge. We need grounding just as we need air and we need sunshine.
Stephen Sinatra, who was a cardiologist from back east, who was attending a convention. We sat down with Stephen and told him the story of what I was doing. I said, well, if you're affecting pain, he says, you need to be researching inflammation. You don't have arthritis, you don't have cancer, you don't have all these health disorders. What you have is chronic inflammation.
We have so much inflammation in the body, and it comes out in illnesses. We go to a doctor with all these complaints, but a lot of it is silent inflammation, including my specialty, heart disease. Heart disease is an inflammatory process. So how do we reduce inflammation?
Inflammation is produced by neutrophils, which is a white blood cell. You have an injury, you have a damaged cell. And so these white blood cells come over and they encapsulate the damaged cell and they release reactive oxygen species, which rip electrons from the damaged cell, and that destroys the damaged cell. If there's not enough free electrons there to reduce the remaining radicals, they're going to steal an electron from a healthy cell and in the process damage it. Then the message goes out to the immune system and another neutrophil does the same thing, eliminates that cell, and then you end up with a chain reaction.
ATP is short for adenosine triphosphate. It's the energy currency of the cell. So we're bioelectrical beings. That's the currency of our body. That's how it works. That's how we run our biological systems, is by generating this electrical energy that's transferred. And when we connect to the Earth through a conductive surface in some way, there's a transfer of electrons that slowly go into our body. In situations where we are insulating ourselves from this surplus of electrons into our body, we're going to get the absolute opposite. So instead of having low levels of inflammation and a thin blood, we'll have thick blood that's more likely to clot, and our levels of inflammation tend to increase.
You could take anybody who has chronic pain, it doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter what's wrong, and ground them, and you're going to have a significant reduction in pain. You're going to stop the oxidation or the inflamed portion. That stops almost immediately. Then the body can heal and return to normal. And healing generally is improved by 60-70%. If inflammation is the cause of all these health disorders, then I know that not grounding is the cause of inflammation, because if the body is grounded, you can't have inflammation.
Can we measure the effects reproducibly? The answer to that is yes. We now have 20 studies.
There's 21 published studies in the medical literature on earthing and grounding. And this is peer-reviewed stuff. In simple terms, what earthing does is literally, it quenches the fires of inflammation. And if inflammation is the source of all root illnesses, including Alzheimer's disease, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, I mean, the list goes on and on. If you can impact inflammation and, squelch it, kill it, stop it, we're going to be healthier beings. So, why hasn't it caught on?
Why hasn't it caught on? You can't patent it, and you can't put it in a bottle, and it's free. So, at the break, we're all going to go to the grass outside. We're going to kick our shoes off, take your socks off, and you get free electron therapy. Because I flew on a plane. We all wear rubber shoes. You're blocking your body's ability to ground and gain positive electrons to charge your stem cells, which is a capacitor. And when you have more positive electrons, you cannot have inflammation. All right? So I teach this to all my patients, 20 minutes a day on their grass, even cement. The best is at the beach. And it's free, okay? So this is my book, and if you guys want one, just text me. I'll get you a free copy. The forward of the book is a PhD researcher. He worked at the Johnson Space Center at NASA, doing research on lasers and fields. Later on, you folks get to meet Billy Davis. He's one of our advocates from the NFL Alumni Association, and I'll give you information how you can, work with NFL alumni, as an advocate in your area for regenerative medicine. Billy was a 2-time Super Bowl champion for the Ravens and the Cowboys. Here he's on one of those PEMF mats for a chronic knee injury. This is one of the events in LA. It's a Monday night football party. Visit Tim. He has one of those PEMF mats for display. You guys can demo. All right. There is a NFL Alumni Association in all major cities. So Dr. Sonny, who's passed out now from last night, he's the affiliate in Iowa. Dr. Patel in Buffalo. We have Gary here in Miami. I'm in LA. One of the cool events we got to sponsor in San Diego, that's where most of the SEAL teams are. We sponsored a UDT Navy SEAL Alumni Association event, and we treated 60 SEALs and teams and their alumni with the pulse electromagnetic fields. They all loved it. We couldn't get them off the mats. These guys are all in chronic pain. All right. So Billy will be coming soon. We're going to do a ball signing for our current affiliates. So if you're interested in supporting NFL alumni as advocates for regenerative medicine, text me at 949-910-9664, NFL stem cell, okay? I hope it was informative. I hope you were inspired. Don't even do cellular medicine if you're not doing grounding or PEMF, because you are stimulating your body's endogenous stem cells to repair, all right? So that's it. I hope it was entertaining and educational. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much, Bill.